So please invite your people. You desire to get married, that's your ticket in today's conversation, Reynolds. That is enough. That is just your only ticket. Tolamela Kheto, I thought you meant qualification certificate. Yes, mama. This qualification certificate. That's why. That's the one we are looking for. Send them an invite, Tabile. Don't be impatient without sending the invite. Send them the invite. Let them come. Send them, all of them who have the experience, want to walk the journey, and let them gather here for the sake of our beautiful women. And yeah, no, I see you have tried this subs. Much appreciated. Please send your peoples there. Send all the guys you know. Send them an invite to the live. Let them come contribute. If not contribute, let them come and pick up something. And we see you, mama. I'm assuming it's Clochi reaction. We see you. And while I'm waiting for you guys to invite people about a certificate and those who want to walk this journey, tell me, how is your day today? How is your Thursday? We are nearing the end of August. We are going to the month of new beginnings. Now I'm already seeing trees. They're not even budding. They are already, leaves are already out. It's going down. I guess Willie Roy battle survivor jang in the spring. Getting kotsetse swakatse. Prayers to you. Soros prayers, Wana Leroy. So, be nice. Be nice. Be nice to Mpatuam. He can decide in Jane to close this live. Rasala Rashiname fan. Oh, Ocho prepare the poison. No, that's good. Be prepared, King. Be prepared, because the spring is springing this month. I've invited my favorite married brother. I hope he comes through. Please, may he come through. Let him come and share and impart knowledge. We see you. How you guys doing? Bumama, how has your month been? This woman's month, how has it been? Have you seen and gotten have you seen and gotten what you expected, more than what you have expected in this month? Because we know in this platform we have tried our levels best to support women this month, to dedicate topics towards women, to have a platform where the women come through and have discussions, So tell me, how has your women's month been? Roller coaster, but the most of it has been so beautiful. We know where that beauty is coming from, ma'am, and we appreciate that ray of sunshine. It's very important. It's very important. Ladies, let me know, how was your month, man? How was this month? 2024. Cool fellow Posh, we see you. How was this month for you? How was this month as we are going by days to the end of this month? Yeah, How have you been experiencing this day? Hi, Sabzi.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm about to finish my tea and I have not even started the show, but this is out.
Is it the vanilla chime?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. My first tea of the day is always green.
I
That's it. That's vanilla chai is for you alone, ma'am.
listen.
Me,
I'm coming. Please tell Madam.
it's for you
I'm gonna be
alone.
making my way soon because wow, very very soon I'm gonna be coming.
I only mostly drink the vanilla Earl Grey, not
Oh
the
yeah,
chai.
yeah. They are great.
Yeah.
No, the vanilla
So that's
is
my thing. Hmm?
no, the vanilla is. Oh, the vanilla is everything.
It's doing the thing. It's good morning, Panyana.
Listen, it goes to the proper places. It opens the right
Yeah.
pipes.
Yeah, yeah. Don't reveal too much. TMI.
Okay, I won't.
Ore, how was the month for you so far?
It has been so good. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, except for obviously last week, this 1 week out of the 4 weeks, but yo, it's been so beautiful. It's been bliss.
It's nice.
The Lord's mercy visited me again, so I'm grateful.
That's wonderful, man. That's wonderful. We love it. We love to hear it. Kabi, how has this Women's Month been for you, ma'am?
Hi, Kechi. Can you guys hear me?
Very well, very well.
Very well. Okay, there's noise where I am. I'm at the
There is
beach,
noise, but at least
living
your
with
voice is louder.
five people problems.
Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry.
No, this month,
How's it?
it has been good. Done a lot of self-reflection, and
Nice.
my highlight was Women's Day because me and my sisters we had this wonderful game night, and we just sat there and we talked and we shared so much. I loved it, and it was my event, and it was successful. I was so happy. I should do it with strangers next time. Yeah, but it's been a
Why
good
not?
month. Yeah, it's been a good month. I'm going on a different journey, and yeah, looking forward to new things. Yeah, but like I'm closing the month in Durban, so must be
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, that's good, man. That's good. Good to hear that the month has been good to you. We appreciate that. And Sis Nano, how has your Women's Month been, Mama?
Hello everyone. Oh,
How
I
are
feel
you?
so
Ngathi you're
bad.
in bed, manje. What's happening?
I've got flu,
Aha,
guys.
man.
Ngiyagula.
Sorry, man.
Ingenzani le flu ingibambe
Oh,
ngamawashing guys.
go
Oh,
walk it off. Go walk it off. Force your body. Go walk it off.
KG, I couldn't feel my head.
Sure, I'm sorry. I'm so
I
sorry.
couldn't feel my head, but I'm actually much better today compared to
That's good.
yesterday.
Hmm.
Yeah.
No, that's you will get there quick. Definitely, you will heal quicker. But
I'm there
otherwise, how was your month?
because funny enough, ne, mina my flu
Mm,
doesn't last more than 3 days.
that's
So I
nice.
will have symptoms, maybe say on Sunday, and then Monday I will have the actual painful feeling of the head pounding and then Tuesday it's just bye bye flu. Then it's done
That's that's nice. That's nice. No, then it means you're taking good care of your body, so that's good.
all the
It knows how
time.
to fight. It knows
Guys,
how to fight.
my August month. Oh, this month. It has been lovely. It has been full of, I think, more than anything, reflection, testimony, your revelation.
Nice.
It has been full of progressive inputs and also progressive movements. honestly, because like more than anything, I just saw movement. It looked stagnant, but there's been so much movement in self, in environment, in mindset, in the way I perceive my world as a whole, the way I've been looking at my life. Like a lot has been changed in terms of the angle I would look at one thing, you know. I was challenged to become better, you know. I was challenged to come out of my comfort zone and actually speak more than I would normally require myself or feel comfortable to speak. I've learned so much from different people, both females and males, but more than anything, for the first time in at least my track record, I've seen sisters loving each other. I've seen sisters being there for each other, and that was just so beautiful to witness.
It's wonderful, man. That's great. What? So at least we can say, Hore, the August of 2024 for women, at least the women that we have the privilege of engaging with day to day, has been fairly good. And we really appreciate you guys. And today's topic, without wasting any further time, it's very, I don't even know where to begin with it, but it is the first topic, I guess, for me, openly inviting the men. And last year was the worst, so I'm grateful for 2024. That's great, Subs. We appreciate that, really appreciate that. So I'm inviting the men to come through on this topic, and it is for the benefits of our sisters, and we hope to do something for y'all today. And I would like you to share it with any man who wants to get married, who is married, desires to get married, because they will also benefit from this conversation. And that's what I wanted for the day, and just so that we can also add a bit of wisdom in this area from man to women, before we go towards the end of this beautiful month, which will not be the end of our works, but just the end of the month itself. We will continue to celebrate the women and support you all in everything, that we can definitely do so in. And before I do that, while I'm changing the thing, I just want to show you guys that Leroy has done it again. He has baked a panekuk. Let me move away. Leroy has baked a panekuk, and I don't know what flavor it is. He has done it again. So this is his creation, a literal cake done in the pan. Just as you would do pancakes. This man is an inventor, guys. But yeah, I just wanted to say that we are moving in life. We are moving. And back to today's topic. This is what I want us to go into today. Alrighty. Thank you, Abu Leroy, for always doing the things, there. But you got nothing on you. So today's topic is, it gets discussed. We have discussed it before, but not in the way that we are going in today. The last time I think I did the topic, it was mainly and more that we had women come in and speak on the topic. Today, I want to invite men to discuss on this, and I want us to talk about the in-laws. And in our in this today, we have normalized in-laws even when we are not married. That's a different topic of another day. But let's hope that today, some of these things will be sorted out, or some of the problems that women encourage, will be sorted out. And indeed, shout out to our producer. I don't know if she tricked us as a woman, or you know what, I will do it for my sisters. So Angaz was this tricking us when a vibe stealer, but it is fine. So this is, or maybe vibe stealer is communicating to us, hey guys, be ready. Jokes. In-laws, how to establish healthy boundaries for women. And like I said, this is how the role that we can play as men in ensuring and establishing healthy boundaries for the women we marry, for the women who say yes to spending the rest of their lives with us. How do we make this journey bearable for them? How do we make this journey beautiful for them? How do we make this journey all that they would have hoped it to be, in ensuring that marriages continue to thrive, family and family bonds continue to be stronger and build on good foundations. We cannot shy away from the fact that some of the things that we have allowed in the name of culture have brought in some level of abuse, some level of bullying, toxicity there, and we have perpetuated in many ways, both sides, as men and as women. You may be the so-called, let me use my language, you may be ngwetsi, and because of how you were treated as ngwetsi, you then, in as much as it was hurtful to you or it was wrong for you, you then go and impose the same, and that is something that we hope it will not continue going forward. Similarly, as men, the role that we have played, where we have kept our silence when things are being done, injustices and bullying and all manner of things have been done to the women we bring into our families, and we don't say or do anything in that regard to protect them, to hear their voices, and that is basically it. And yes, Vibe Stealer, the reason I didn't want to use the secondary one is that that is also part of the communication right now, or discussions right now, Hore. That is not the word we ought to be using, because it was meant to oppress women, or it was meant to hunyata in a way. I don't know how to give it to the people who don't understand my language, but nonetheless, that is basically the case. So and actually it's not mokgwenyane, ke mokgwe. So which then is the wife and the husband in this case. So at my wife's family, my wife ke ngwetsi in my family. Some will say ke Sekgothudi. So yeah, I stick with ngwetsi too. There we go. So yeah, so that is basically that. There's injustices that we have let perpetuate, or that we have perpetuated rather, and encouraged, because we either don't want to question, or we either don't want to stand. And I feel, as men, particularly when you have brought a woman into your home, you know your people. And if anything, you should know how to handle your people, in such a way that they then do not abuse and ill-treat this woman that you have brought into your home and your family. And it's sometimes is done in a way to say, or the excuse that is given is to say, no, we are training her. There is the need of training, and we agree, from the basic principles of saying you are coming into this family to extend and to grow the name of this family. And you then ought to be trained into the ways and the traditions of this family, so that you can in turn train it, and or rather pass it down to your kids and their kids, and like that. So now you have become part of a generational chain, and in that way, we need to then train you in how we do things in this house. And it then sometimes calls for you to let go. And if I may use the my religious beliefs in this case, we leave to cling. All right, so you then leave this your mother's house and your father's house to be joined into this family, and you need to be one with that particular family. And for you to become one is to follow and do the things that they do. Not only just to follow, but also to influence. You have room to create new traditions. You have room to correct certain wrongs that you might have observed, because sometimes, because when we're in the situation, I grew in this thing, this is how things were being done, it becomes difficult to see when it's wrong or when it's no longer serving the family. And sometimes it takes an outsider to look from that, and that is the view that you're also coming in as Mweti, and you are able to see that, oh man, this and this and that, we need to do this. I'll make a very simple example. For me, I grew up at home. We don't greatly or auspiciously celebrate birthdays or even milestones, right? Birthday, mostly what we'll do is buy some meat, have some cake, eat, right? And no big parties or anything like that. And as a result of that, in my life, I never made emphasis or a big hoo-ha about my birthdays. And when I got married to my wife, she was like, no, sir, we will celebrate every single milestone. And I found it very bizarre. And only now, after these wonderful 5 years, I've gotten accustomed to celebrating milestones. And it's particularly great because you are able to then, reflect and celebrate yourself, motivate yourself to keep going, so that is the beauty of Ngwetsi Atsena in the family, and she's able to introduce all these wonderful things, that then we can take on as a family. So these are the these are the ways that we can, or rather some of the roles that Ngwetsi plays into the marriage. However, for that to be, and for Ngweti to be able to be free to play the best role that she can play, to bring innovation in the family, to bring new things, and to carry the traditions that are there, she needs to first be free. She needs to feel welcomed. She needs to feel and understand that her voice has value equally, and she's not just taken as an outsider. And this is where now the boundaries are coming in. This is where the boundaries are very important in how then we ensure and navigate this journey with Ngwetsi in the family. And I'm hoping that today we will go further. I've written some points, but I don't want this to be my discussion. I want to hear men come through, and I think, I don't know, Lee, if you mentioned this topic yesterday, because I see our regular brothers are not all here. Please send them messages and tell them to come through. Maybe they would have thought, oh, you know what, it's only women who are going to talk, so they might have not come through. Leroy. So please send our brothers an invite there to come through, and so that we can discuss how we as men can ensure that we establish healthy and help to establish healthy relationships or boundaries for the women we bring into our homes. And let's have that conversation. Just Masejo, the topic is deep, definitely. Good morning indeed, ma'am. So Abu Reynolds, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, and yourself?
I'm very good, and I remember pretty well that you have this desire to walk this journey, and and I'm hoping this will also be beneficial to you. But I know also that you would have your own views and what you have learned along the ways, or even observed in your own family and relatives, in terms of how the relationship with Dingweti are held or are treated in our families. What's your contribution to that?
Okay, my brother, I hear the topic loud and clear. But before I do my submission, I have one question, right?
Come to.
If I'm gonna make an example, if I meet subs now, and we say we start dating, not marriage, what is the right time to introduce each other to our families?
All right. Is that the end of the question?
That's the question.
Okay. Now the question is, for me, is, are we assuming that you intend on marrying subs?
Yes.
Okay. So if the intention,
Let's say we just met.
okay.
We just met and we want to make something work.
All right. Then I'll answer it in two ways. Since then, there's a point of you just met, because that complicates issues. And then I'll also still touch on when now we have established that marriage is what we want to do. So when you have just met, it's very important for me, and my advice is always that focus on getting to know each other. Right? Focus on getting to know each other, because that is far much more important than people knowing you two as a couple. Focus on getting to know each other, because then, first of all, when you begin to know each other, you then get to a level where you say, I think I see this future with this person, and I think this person will even fit well in my family. I see how this person will go along with my dad, my mom, my siblings. That's the benefit of then spending time and getting to know each other. Personally, and this is just a personal thing, even throughout my dating, I ensured and I made sure that I don't want to involve elders in my dating. And when I say elders, I mean parents, not to say elders, because I think also elders play a very good role in relationships from a guidance point of view. But from my parents per se, because it also introduces certain expectations, right? I remember one time when I was like, okay, cool, this girl I've gotten to know her, I'm dating her, and I feel I would like my parents to meet her. And the day I invited her to my house, then my mom saw her and whatever, and my mom called me to the side a bit, and it's like, so who is this? And I was like, yeah. She's like, oh, okay, no, cool. I hope you don't change them like you change your underwear. And that thing, to me, I heard it very loud and clear. And I was like, and I understand what she was also saying now, also in my adult years. I understood what she was saying, because there is also that element of, don't then bring people when you have no intention about these people. That's why I said now there's this fashion, let me call it, of then making people dingweti and bahwe when there has never even been any discussions. So you are invited to the family things and you are called makoti and all of those things. So those things are creating expectations. And now, when things are no longer going great for you two, or you break up, now there's been bonds that have been built that are becoming difficult to maybe break. So that's the downside of doing this. And now imagine, as a how would your woman feel when now this is a woman you have brought that you want to marry, but there was another one that you brought and introduced, and you introduced them without you and the intentions of wanting to marry this person. Now your mom likes your ex more than she likes this one that you've brought, and there is now this continuous relationship, because now you have introduced them, your mom and this lady. Now there is now this relationship that is going, that now threatens your current partner and what you're trying to build. So these are the downsides of then introducing people to the family. It is okay, perhaps, for your parents to know that, okay, KG is dating that girl from that house, for the sake of at least knowing, or okay, because our parents, and this is stemming from how even arranged marriages were done before. They have ways of knowing the history of families, and that's why there are sayings in my language that matlo a mang ga tsene, metse e mengwe ga e tsene. So it's translation, you ought not to marry in certain households, because we have observed their behaviors, we have observed their things throughout history, and we have seen bana ba kwa batala, so so to put it. So there's that thing, because of history, they see that. So at least your parents will be able to know, okay, this person is my son, or my daughter is dating a person from that house. They begin to know what is what, just for that sake and for safety in nowadays, that they know the face of the person. But that is different from introduction, where now this person is free to come and visit in your house and things like that. So but people do it in different ways. So that is my answer and all that. In the beginning, I would say no. You can point her there ko strateng gore ke ena motho o ke zamang go mo tseba, no, just for the sake of your parents to know. And they can also observe, especially if it's someone who's in your neighborhood or whatever the case, they will know and they will observe what they need to observe. And that is that. But you have not brought this person and created certain expectations by bringing them to your house. So I would then say the right time for me is when you know the true intentions of what you guys are doing. And I know these things do happen where both of you are intending to get married, but somewhere along the lines, things don't work out. That is an understandable thing, but at least you have followed protocol in terms of making sure that the risks are mitigated. I hope I have answered you, Reynolds.
Well, you have answered loud and clear, and thank you for making this clarification to me. Because I've asked this question, I once had an experience whereby I was dating this lady, and this lady, we went to a second date. We went to a first date, we agreed go to on a second date we would go. Apparently on the second date, the lady just came with her mother without telling me on it, and I found them both there. Good, you know what? It's on valid. They are ready to. It was an awkward moment of my life. You do know. And when I asked her, okay, I don't know her, and she introduced her, good, no, this one, it's my mother, and please become. I was like, okay, why didn't you tell me first? Why didn't you tell me good, you're coming with her? And it was like a shock for me, good, now. I've budgeted for one person, I have to budget for two people now. Guys, it was a chaos. A chaos.
Yeah,
And the
no, I can only
questions are coming
imagine.
like, what? I'm in an interview, or I was like, you know what? Here, I just have to find a way out. Here, because and what I did, we sit down, we ordered, we eat. After eating, I pretend as if I'm going to the toilet. Then I left. Because it was an awkward moment of my life.
Then I don't even need to ask if you're still dating this person. It's very clear. So that was the last time you saw this person.
Come again?
I'm saying, so this was the last time you saw her, the lady.
I was thinking she came back for a laugh back. And the worst part, she used to complain, good day, at home they don't take care of me. At home my mother doesn't take me to school. I needed, imagine I even assist this lady to get a therapy and I pay for the therapy. But she didn't put effort to see that therapy because she was complaining, you know what, I'm drained and my mental health is not okay. And I say, dude, here's the therapy, she's my therapy, go and see her, talk to her. Did she went? No. Okay, and she's also said, I'm sitting at home doing nothing. I gave her application form. Yes, job application. Apply. Did you apply? No. Why? I will do it another time. Are we dating people that we need to support or we need to parent? Like, I don't understand. Unfortunately, we broke up with that person. I've managed to block her everywhere because it was too much for me. And the problem is that we were in a 1 hour long distance when she had to come to see me. there was complaint. Hey, I'm afraid for long distance. Why can't you come distance? But it's not my relationship alone. It's ours. So why should I make effort and you don't make effort?
Definitely.
So yeah.
Hey. Okay. No, thank you for that story, Reynolds. Yeah, no, I think no. It's far much better to introduce people when things are very clear. You know this person, you know what you guys are intending to do, then you can formally introduce them to your family. But for the sake of them knowing, you can point them from far and say, that is the girl that I'm trying to figure out at the moment, and maybe once I've figured her out, then I will introduce her to you guys. I don't want to just introduce a person when I don't even know this person. So, and I think that's also a responsibility that you also owe your own family. I think also we take that for granted. That when you bring people that you know that you have vetted, that they will be good candidates, to carry this family and lineage forward. It should not just only be a selfish endeavor to just say that, yeah, no, it's my person. I will bring whoever I want. Bring whoever you want, but bear in mind that this person is there to build your lineage, and they can't do that without the involvement of your family. So, and I think that's how we will stop these divisions that are happening amongst families as a result of someone getting married in the family, and therefore there's fights and then there's a whole division. No, ensure that you vet the people that you're going to bring in. Ensure that you vet. I hope you guys can hear me well. I just received a call. I don't know why it came through, especially because I've muted. Can you guys hear me? Please confirm if you can hear me well.
Yes, you can.
Okay, great. Thank you. So, yeah. So it is also your duty to your own family to ensure that you bring people that you have vetted, and if anything, because they are trusting you to bring someone in their space, because we also understand this is their space, so when you bring this person, at least let it be a person that you've vetted. First of all, yes, they are good for you and everything else, but they are also joining your family,
Sorry
yeah,
to
so that's
disturb you,
that.
ne? Sorry to
Yeah.
disturb you, ne? One person once said to me, this lady, she brought her mother because of hunger. One person once told me, would this lady brought her mother because of hunger, like Balambile.
Sure. Yeah. Hey, gruff. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, for those who have joined us, I didn't even introduce myself. My apologies for my manners. My name is KG, and I am part of Makoya Rundown. We are here Monday to Friday, and we have conversations from 20 past 10, and we end just about 12:30 to 1 o'clock, depending on the topic that we're engaging on. And today we are having this discussion in honor of Women's Month. We've been having conversations and discussions surrounding and around women, and today is no different. However, today I am inviting men to come through and help us tackle this, because we have a role to play in how we establish healthy boundaries for the women we bring into our families. And yeah, so let's do that. And by the way, we also have a YouTube channel by the same name. You will also find a library of a lot, like so many conversations. You can imagine Monday to Friday since last year, August, if I'm not mistaken, from the consistency. Like, there's just enough. So, yeah. So, come through. Yes, Renault, I think you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I'm about to jump off now. I'm about to
Okay,
jump off.
no problem.
So, in terms of this topic of today, I need, for me, yeah, I'm gonna put it straightforward. I need a relationship that is like, I'm gonna make an example. A
Okay.
relationship that is like palms. You know your palms. Two palms, they never separated. But they separate when something is coming on. That's the relationship that I want. Because, guys, we're in life. Life is too short and we're gonna die soon. So if we're making excuses, like, no, guys. So, yeah, with that information, bye bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Reynolds, for keeping it PG. Bagolo ba go utlwile, those who were hearing, they heard you very well. Thank you for your contribution. So yes, let's have the discussion here. Men who are married, men who want to get married. How can we ensure that we build healthy boundaries for the women that we marry, that we bring into our families? That is the conversation of the day. Subs, I see your hand.
I want to say to Precious, she's here saying she's because I said to her,
Your network. I can't hear you well, Subsy.
I sent her an invite and I said that invite is for tea. So she said she was.
Oh, Subsy.
How is it now?
You're gonna have to type. You're gonna have to type or find namela kudi man namam. Because the network is not networking. Precious, where are you? Please invite Baba and let's hear Huti. I get he's at work. Well, me, I'm at work. Okay. Okay. All right, Presh. Okay, so let's go with it. Since the men's are not coming through, I don't know where are the men's that you guys invited, because I see the numbers are going up, but the men's are not coming through. The men's, please come through. Let's have the discussion. And for me, I would say it starts, and this is advice to women. If you're gonna get married into a family, ensure that you understand and you know, or you do as much research as you can about the family that you're getting married into. This is very important because it gives you time and room for preparation. You learn their ways, and invite him nonetheless. He can listen, and maybe he will send you a message and you will give it back when I get so I would advise you to learn and do as much investigation as you can. And like I said, if you're gonna be marrying someone within your town, within your community, your parents know better, know these households better, do a bit of that investigation, get to know the history. And this is not so that you find out secrets and all of that, but it's more for you to understand the people, their behaviors, in terms of who you are going to get married into, because you don't just marry this person alone, you're marrying into their family also. So unless this is how you guys do things, you marry and you step aside, then it's something that I don't know. But however, learn to know about the family, And I think from the understanding of our cultures and totems and tribes, you can almost know the behaviors of certain tribes, and based on totems, you also know this branch comes from this branch, and by history, you will know a couple of things, about these people, how they do things, how they don't do things, and that helps you align what their ways and their traditions with what you already know and believe, and test and see whether this is what you're gonna continue with or you want to get yourself into, type of a thing. Some things are so deep that you may not necessarily know, but at least do that investigation of who you are getting married to and into whom's family you're getting married into, right? Because that helps you win the battle of boundaries and establishing health. Because you've already seen and you already know this nature of people, then you have strategies of how you get into this family and how you're going to move about, right? And then number 2, find a supporter. And in the world of corporate, we speak of sponsors. You have mentors and sponsors. Find a sponsor, someone who is there for you. Oftentimes it's another ngwetsi of the family. Sometimes would be ngwetsi other family, not necessarily into your home, but in your relatives, type of a thing. This people, or if it's a couple, even better, because they play a very important role, these ones. And for me, I have seen it firsthand. When you have a couple, because if it's a married couple, you can have them be part and parcel of your marriage, lobola rather, entourage, right? And because they are there, they are for you. These are the people who get to push your agenda in there, right? So they get to speak for you, advocate for you, to ensure that your desires are also taken into account. And the more they do it, and as they know, because they've walked the journey themselves, they will know how to navigate that and ensure and communicate it to the elders in a way that it's received well. So when you have these allies and these people who are for you, they will teach you the ways and how, the history is with the family, give you advice on how you handle these matters, because they have also walked this before, yeah? So you will get that bit of privilege in terms of that. So, but that doesn't just happen without you learning how to build allies. So whether you're going to read a book, whether you're going to use your corporate experience, in terms of how we navigate and, climb the career ladder, you then need to make sure that you know how to build relationships, particularly of allies, and how you navigate. So you don't just, because it's not every time when you get into a family and you're automatically accepted. And even if you are accepted, that does not exempt you from challenges that just happen with relationships. Sometimes the challenges have nothing to do with you. They have been brewing before you came along, but because you are there, you are caught in the crosshairs. So you need to it is advantageous for you to have people who will support you. They are there for you, for your marriage, and particularly you as mates. So these people will either take you under their arm, or they will just walk the journey with you in terms of how do you navigate your in-laws. So you see, I'm coming with it just from how you win before you even have to engage your in-laws, right? And so that is some of the things, and then you come into who you are, in a sense of this one. It's a personality issue, but I'm still gonna say it. Interpret it how it best comes to you. Don't be, especially as a woman, don't be the quiet, shy type as Mwet. I don't think it helps you in any way. It may be your personality, it may be who you are, and I'm not asking you to step out of it. But by experience and evidence, people, especially the Mweti that have that timid behavior, that are, quiet, I shall not speak because, those type of things. There's respect that ought to be given however way culturally it is expected. There's that. But there's also just you now keeping quiet unnecessarily, So you can still communicate in still a respectful manner, but don't be the quiet person who just takes things on and in and never really have a thing. So, for example, in the history of people in and around me, I've seen, and this is not people who are married, but more like girlfriends, but they've been dating this person for a while, where when they speak about one girlfriend of the siblings, one girlfriend compared to the other one is well outspoken, the other one is not, right? And this one who's outspoken is taken as they are. They're like, also, hey, she's like this, And because of who they are or who they are perceived to be, they get a lot of advantage than those who are quiet. If you then don't show who you are, then they will tell you who you should be, because you're not telling them who you are, or at least showing them who you are. And that's where room is built for bullying, for manipulation, and all of these other things, right? So that is a thing. So Sisnom says, avoid dissociation and isolation. It never works. Also communicate consistently, right? So make your opinions known, definitely in a respectful manner. When you know that you can't make you can't voice it by yourself, bring in your husband, bring in that ally I spoke about. Let them advocate for you where you cannot, because there are certain cultural things where sometimes you might not have a voice per se as umakoti, but not having a voice does not mean you can't have someone carry your voice for you, right? So that's some of the things. Noms, be a team player and collaborate. It helps strengthen your relations with the family. That actually brings me to one of the points, sis Noms, where I was saying, let me see. I said, find something that aligns with your beliefs, your opinions, and culture, and run with it. Make it your agenda. So when Sis Noms is saying be a team player and collaborate, find that thing that is very common. It's the same perhaps as where you come from, or whatever the case may be, but this becomes your agenda when you are in this family. So they know, okay, no, sure, we can always rely on Sabelo for this. We can always rely on Noms for this type of a thing. But because it's something that you also you don't have any beef doing or being involved in or even leading, it gives you room now to be seen as a leader and just a follower. You are a person who's stepping in and doing what needs to be done, type of a thing. So that's another thing, that when you, and I remember there was some Twitter threads when it was still Twitter, some lady, I forgot what her handle was, but she was giving advice to Dingweti to say, you know, if you, how she does it. I think she would talk about when she comes through, she brings peeled veggies and all of these things. And, you know, she has picked a niche for herself, and this is how she comes through. And that is that. And even in our families, we know there's a group of people that I know in my family that guaranteed, given whatever the event is, they're always by the pot. Those are the midnight cookers. They cook at night whenever there's an event, and they are known for that. There's someone who's known to say, this one, when it comes to all the electrical things and tents, beast type of a thing. So that is like your lane type. So if you find something along those lines and you move there, that makes your journey much more easier, and you are seen to be participating in the things that advance the family, right? Another comment from Sis Noms: avail yourself when necessary. You are not above others, regardless of your status in life. Zezo. So that is basically that. And this one would be a bit maybe controversial, but it needs a bit of wisdom. Learn to say no very quickly. And the sooner you practice it, I think the better and the sooner it gets for you. And this is not to say no in a sense that is seen and perceived as, you know, you're not being a team player, you're being rebellious or whatever the case. But it gives you also, like I said, that personality thing that we know that this one, where she says she's not going to do something, she's not going to do something, you know? Or if she says no, she says no. But also when she says yes, she definitely says yes. And they know that when you say no, by your track record, it will eventually become that you have a reason to say no, because other times you say yes and you're involved wholeheartedly. But when you say no, they understand what is the no for. And this is where I call men to come in. That when you have an understanding with your wife, because it starts with you, it starts with the both of you. You need to have a strategy of how both of you manage your in-laws. This is not just we'll find it as we go. Some things is will come and you have to navigate as you go. But you need to then make sure that you have a strategy between the two of you, how you're going to manage your in-laws. In then so doing, then you know that these things are a no for us. You and my wife, as my wife, or the two of you are saying towards any in-law, this is a no for us. So it does not matter whether it's coming from my wife or it's coming from me as a husband. It's a no. That way it makes it easier that when she says no, you are able to come in and be like, yeah, no, I told her to say no. If there's a need for you to come in and back her up, because you as a household have decided that this is a no for us. So it makes things easier. And by practice, you will also know that when your wife says no to something, even if you have not yet discussed it, you will know that, and you have no doubt that she would have a reason to say no. So you don't even have to bother thinking much. You know when to support her. You know that I ought to be like, yes, no. We have discussed it, me and her. It is a no. And that is the case. And the reasons she has given are the reasons she has given. Later on, you can ask her, hey, what was your idea here? Then you can always come back and fix it if needs be. But at least there's that no and all of that. Please do invite him. I thought I saw him saying he is engaged with something. But anyway. So yeah, make your beliefs and convictions very clear so no one ever expects the impossible. Exactly that. especially when it comes to these beliefs and things that you stand by. You need to make them clear. But remember, when you both know each other and you have discussed these things, the two of you, you then ensure that you are a united front. Copy. So when she says no, it is equally your no. When she says yes, it is equally your yes, because your values are intact, the both of you. So that is basically it. And always check with your husband. Hore, you know what? This is what I've noticed in your family. I'm happy about this, or I'm not happy about this. How do you think we can engage it? You're strategizing, you're talking together, and then you coming with a thing so that when either you go or he goes, whoever is at that particular moment when something happens has to address it. Both of you have a form of understanding of how you do it. So it always starts with both of you and what you have agreed on, because then it helps establish these healthy boundaries for the sake of your wife, whether it is to protect her, or whether it is to advance her, or whether it is to even make her look great and shine in the family. Because it's not always just to protect, it is also there to make her shine, because when you have a boundary that ensures that she is not bullied, she's able to be free and do the best that she can, type of a thing, so it plays in different ways. So those are some of the point. I thought by now we will have men come through to the panel to disagree or agree, and give their wisdom. I'm not too sure what is happening today, and I hope they're not gonna let me down. But this is basically that. And in the same breath, I will take questions from ladies. If you have a question or you have a situation, an example, that you feel good, yeah, no, me, I want clarity, or I don't agree with this, and things like that. We can come at month and week. Abantu ba busy ngama reports. No, I fully understand. Fully understand. So ladies, now do not feel restricted to come to the panel. Do ask your questions, panel, on the comments. Hello, Mpoa Motswa. Mpoa Motswa. Motswa Sele. Hello, hi. Kitazigara Mpoa Motswa. So do come through. Let me check the comments. Okay, I didn't miss anything. So let's have this engagement. Sabzi, your network, ma'am, has it become better? Are you there, Sabilu?
No, it's taking, guys. It is so jealous. Like, it doesn't want me to come through today.
Well, it seems like it's okay now. So yeah, it just needed you to speak.
It seems like it.
Ask your question, comment.
No, I wanted to comment on Ray, but you have moved on from that, so I wanna stick to the topic.
Why didn't you raise your hand at the time?
Maybe the ladies can tell us what they expect from their men, because I see the men are running away today. And guys, wait, whoa, next 5 tenths. Why are you guys not tapping today? What is this go slow for? Kia in go slow. Why are people not tapping today? Look, guys, in.
It's like a month end vibe.
Other month ends have been just fine. People have been tapping. This is not the first month end.
Hey man, as I'm not letting because but hey, I'm saying we're here. As me, I can't comment much, hey, because me and marriage and like when I'm at I'm not really I'm like a big fan of that. Yeah, but then like one thing that I can say, if like we get married in the future, as Sekgothudi, she has nothing to worry about actually, Go higher. I don't know, I will chill for the Ravana. I feel like, well, for as long as she is respectful, I easy things. But then, yeah, no, you should defend your wife, Benjan. You know, whether or like my marrying in Iran, because you know there are those gents, you know, those ones, you know, like Bomabaril, you know. So now some gents, we just need to, you know, we just need to step up actually, you know. Okay, sharp. Yes, Fidere, you love your mother like that, but then now you have your own family. So now, Jay, they must also respect that now you are no longer the boy now, you know, you are the man you are best that supposed to be, you know. So I feel as gents we should actually know like what's that step up there actually. But yeah, nagis like nagasap.
Alright, Abuti Penekuku. We see you and hear you say continue to shine there in your Penekuku vibes. Abuti Senza. Alright, Abuti Senza. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. So sorry, can you please keep me for a minute or two? Just doing something.
Not a problem. Do what you gotta do, sir. Do what you gotta do. Paul, how are you?
Hi guys, Deadly Guy.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
I think I'm seeing you first for the first time on my panel. So, to you. Welcome, welcome.
I'm always with Leroy. It's just that my names keep on changing from time to time.
Not a problem. What's your contribution?
Guys, now you know when it comes to in-laws, it's one other thing. I'll be talking from someone who's married and having to have had my own fair share of in-laws and the best way of how to relate with them. I think the problem when it comes to in-laws, I'm not even going to say my husband should defend me, because it would be a way of me saying choose between the two. You understand?
Okay.
I believe most of the time we get to families and we tend to take over, or we want them to act in a certain way that we are used to. And we don't get to a point of studying and understanding them from their own way, or their own way of how they do things within their household. Because I believe each and every single person has got their own way of how they treat people. And some people treat people differently. Some treat people based on their standards of how they are. And we cannot say that they are wrong, because that's their own way of how they get to view life. So we tend to have this thing of, when we get to other people's families, we tend to overlook things and we expect them to act in a certain manner towards us, forgetting that that family has been existing before you. They had their own structure, they had their own way of how they operated, and they had their own view as to how they do things. Because at the end of the day, they end up getting along with their child, and you on the other side, they don't like you because their child is used to how they operate, because that child was brought up in that household, and you are just a new person coming in. Yes, it does happen that as a person you can change, right? Changing because you like how a certain person does things, but you cannot really get into someone else's household and expect things to run the way you want them to. So when it comes to in-laws, I've learned that when I go to your house, you run the show. How you run the show is the way you are used to running it. Yes, there will be points whereby I have to put in my own views. And if it so happens that you like my views in your household, you will apply them. But if you don't like them, you won't apply them. And I'm not supposed to enforce what I'm coming with in your household, because that is what you are used to doing in your household. Remember, when you go to a certain place, if they have their own culture, you cannot expect to go there and change the culture, because that's how they are. That's how they operate. So as Bomakoti, we tend to have this thing of saying, yeah, Mati, I don't even like how my mother-in-law looks at me and how she talks to me. But if you really study that woman and you stay with that woman for some time, you will realize that you are not the only person that she treats in that way. There are still people that come over to that household and she still treats them the same way she treats you. Meaning, she's that type of a person that does not treat people the same way. And you will also get to sit in households whereby you will realize that this person has got, they are loving. Whether you are poor, whether you are rich, whether you are domesticated, whether you are not domesticated, that person is going to love you irregardless, because that's how they are. It's within their nature. So with me, I don't like this thing of, you didn't stand out for me. Why standing out for me? Because if you stand out to me, yes, it's fine. You can correct your family. Correct them. But that does not mean that the minute we walk away, they are going to change their views about you. Their views are going to remain the same. So if we learn to accept each and every single person for who they are and how they do things and how they want to treat you, let them be, because that's how they want things to be done. And if then that's the case, sometimes you just need to pull yourself out. And if they call you and ask you, how you no longer come over, then you can tell them, I don't feel at home when I'm at your place, because I don't feel like I belong there. So I had to give you that space so that when you are at your house, you feel comfortable, you feel free. So when it comes to in-laws, that's my view. I don't want to lie.
Okay, I hear you, Simple. And for me, it's a double-edged sword. The things you've mentioned, and they're very logical, and I understand them purely. However, there is also, just to take an example from the last thing you mentioned, that you then no longer visiting their house and assuming that they will call you and be like, hey, you no longer visit my house. It's assuming that they are mature enough to do that. There's another route that could be taken, and often is taken, where rather than calling and finding out why don't you no longer visit, they would then be like, oh, wait, or all that. So you get what I mean? So that's why I said it's a double-edged sword. However, in as much as you accept people for who they are, and I'm just not sure when you joined us, but one of the points that I started with is investigate and learn the family that you're getting married into. Observe, see, and just see the type of people, and you're right in that. Sheba mama zala horo oyang, sheba tata zala oyang, check the siblings or bayang, and see whether these things are congruent in a sense as this is the behavior of people who are coming from the same house. Then you know what you are dealing with, right? Then you know how to address. The only other issue of letting people be is that they it can create issues where one, we don't have communication, right? And it brings a lot of assumptions in the thing. However, letting them be for the time that which you are learning how they operate, that I agree with, because it's you seeing who they are and understanding their personalities and whatever the case may be. But then it gets to a point where now I would say it's important to also bring in improvement, growth. You teach people then how to also treat you, not however they want to treat you, but also to say that when you treat me like this, for me, it is not great. And I understand you don't even mean any ill intent. That's just how things are done. But also, this is how, as a human being, I relate well when things are done to me, or if you speak to me in this particular manner. So you are inviting them to say, when you want to have a relationship with me that is wonderful, add 1, 2, 3, subtract this and that. In as much as I am also learning how to have a relationship with you and accepting you for who you are. But you can't now just, because this is who Mama Zala is, and wow tetisa or speaks down on you and all of that, and just because she does it with all her children, then that you must accept. That's where the problem is for me. I don't know if it makes a bit of sense, but I hear you. But our problem is having to change others. Definitely, you can't change people, but you can also introduce new ways of handling matters. I don't know if you have anything further to say, Osimpo.
Yes. I'm just saying this. One thing I've learned Namubutilong so far is that the thing of bringing change to another person is something that is so difficult, unlike bringing change to yourself. The one thing that I've learned is that if I have peace in my life and I try my best to make sure that whatever surrounds me brings in peace in my life, and to the things that I'm not able to to correct, I will just bring silence to them. I'll just keep silent and just keep them as they are. Because one thing Eki to dealing so far Mobutilong is that it's very difficult to teach someone manners. Okay. And the only way to learn manners, most of the time, you can try to shout at a person or try to correct them. But if they are not yet ready to change, and if they feel that their view is always right, or they feel that what they are doing to them is right, it's going to be so difficult, especially having to teach an elderly person how to view things. It's so difficult to show a person how things are supposed to be done around you. You can somehow try to change someone that is in their 20s and early 30s. But the minute someone is over the age of 40 and 50, it's very difficult to show that person the way. And no matter how much you try to show them, they will still tell you, who are you to come and correct me? Because I'm older than you. And I believe when you get to someone else's household, that Mama Zala is going to be someone that is way older than you. And they're not going to be able to see things the way you view them. If we were born, like as in a form of us having the same genes and somehow having each and every single thing that is the same with us, I believe that, yes, life would be general. But life is not general for all of us. Even twins can be brought up together, but they will not have the same behavior. So I've learned in my life to just accommodate you as you are, to a point of me realizing that even if I'm with you and you are my in-law and you somehow shout at me at some particular place or something, I would keep my peace and just keep quiet because, before I lose myself, because some other things will even lead you to a point of you losing yourself. And when you sit down and you ask yourself, how can I stood so low? It's because you had to take an argument with someone that is not in your level, like in your level of reasoning. Not to say that theirs is not even not to say that theirs is not even worth being given praises, because I've grown to understand that we are different. Your view will be your view and my view will be my view, regardless of how I try to show you how I view things. If you want to view it the way you want to view it, you will keep on viewing it the way you want to. Yes. So when I go into my mother-in-law's house, I don't go in with change. No, I'm just stepping in as their daughter-in-law who is married to their child. What happens in their household, yes, I can throw in an idea, but I'm not taking a decision. And if they don't take it, and if they feel that what I've said to them does not make sense, let it be that it doesn't make sense to them. And if they feel that they can say words that are not fine towards me, that's why I'm saying, let me walk away. I cannot be going to a place where I feel undermined. I cannot go to a place whereby when I come back, I feel like, my self-confidence has went down. That is not my place. I got married to my husband. The behavior they have at their household is their own behavior. That does not include me because I'm coming from another household that has a different culture. He can accommodate that culture. He grew up with it. So if he goes to it, I'll just tell him that I'm not able to go there because I'm not able to associate with your family. That's it.
Okay. No, I hear you, Simple. I hear you. And like you said, I totally agree with the aspect of people or the difficulty of changing people. And for me, people would say, yeah, it's not your responsibility to change anyone. Oh, great. But it's also a personal thing where it depends on obviously how you want to lead your life. In a sense that, do you want to be also a change maker? Because you can definitely be that. And it being difficult does not mean it's impossible. I think the issue is patience. People are not patient enough, particularly when it comes to changing certain behaviors. And for me, I say in the case of a marriage, you have a lifetime, even in your own household, you don't change things like this, so have patience that I've just married this person within a year. I don't expect that, things will be hunky-dory immediately within a year, within 2, sometimes even 5 years is too little for things to look great in that instance. But when you understand and you take the position of saying, I have a lifetime to do this, you are very patient. You can take that. And my only concern with the view and the perspective of because I don't relate with your people, because of I feel undermined and whatever, however they treat me, therefore I remove myself. I think it does not encourage relationships. And it goes back to what I spoke about, that for us to fight these divisions amongst families, whereby once one person gets married, automatically now, the relationships are severed in one way or the other. That does not build a generation in the ideal way that we would like to have generation being built. So we need to have these hard conversations. We need to also take these difficult things and work at them. All we need to apply is that patience, because for me, I'll make an example with my wife. So I grew up in a household where ha o le ngwana wa kgalemelwa, and the ways in which you are kgalemelwa is with a stern voice, raise your voice, not shouting, but that stern voice. That's the family I'm raised in. She's raised in a family where she managed to teach her mom to reason with her, to say, Mom, if I did something wrong and your result is honshauta or honshapa, it does not help me, because that's not how I learn. That's not how I receive information. So I zone off the moment o shout, I'm not listening. So I think it will be beneficial if you sit me down and talk to me, and I understand and I change my ways. And she did that, and it was very clear. Once she's spoken to, she hears, and then she changes, and we move, right? So these are different dynamics. So having to come into my house, and anything should it happen that she needs to be reprimanded, or there's correction or whatever it is that resemble how my family does things, or my parents would do things, it will be difficult for her to handle. Now it becomes my duty to acknowledge that she's coming from a different family. I was raised in this manner. It does not mean I liked it, and it helps that I did not necessarily like it, so I know how I ought to change it, or I want to change it with my kids. But now I need to find a way to bridge this gap. I need to then accommodate her and speak to my parents and be like, guys, fortunately, they understand that this person comes from a different household, and this is the case. And I'll say that this is how she grew up. Whenever you will speak and raise your voice, it's not going to work. If you feel you're going to have a problem, either you sit her down and talk to her. If you feel that cannot work, you sit down with me and let me know, and then I'll communicate what you need to be communicated. We need to find a way to ensure that we are building, because then if you shout at her, she will never feel free to come to you and talk about anything. Now, would you rather choose raising your voice or building a relationship lengwetia how? Because my parents, their outlook is that you are a child that we have brought into this family. You will be a child just like every other child in this house. You'll be treated like every other child in this house. That is the application. But that won't work when bashauta na, because I will listen, I tune out the volume or whatever the case may be, but I'll still know how to receive. She won't be able to receive. And also me asking her to accept it would also be a little bit tricky. So for the sake of relationship, then you have a discussion of saying, but Wadi, do you which one weighs better for you? The need to shout, or the need to communicate what the problem is in a way that the person understands, and then we move forward? Because I believe you shouted at me because I was a child, maybe I was not listening, but as an adult, as my parents, you no longer shout at me, you speak to me about issues, and I understand. So, so your behaviors would have changed. As a parent and you're speaking to a child, and as a parent and you're speaking to me as an adult, there is difference in terms of that. So we need to always find a way, for me, for the sake of building these relationships, because they are lifetime relationships. So we need to find a way that you don't just say, if it's not working, I'll step back. That is just my only concern with that. Sis Nano, come through, Mama.
Yeah, guys, very interesting topic. I just wanted to talk about the importance of healing, and not healing as a collective because you want other people to hear or rather understand where you come from. I'll speak on this based off of my personal life and my personal experience. I'm the firstborn child of 4 children at home, and I'm the only girl. With that being said, the treatment that I'm receiving from my mom is very disturbing, which makes me feel very, very unsettled in my heart to say, With the 3 boys that come after me, now they've got children. At least 2 of them have children. What does that mean, for the women that they have children with? Based on the kind of person that my mother has always been towards me as her own personal daughter, are we made aware, Hore, the treatment that we always come from in terms of the upbringing and the scars that are imparted in us, not only do they build a wall of not trusting the next person, be it your in-laws or even being comfortable in a relationship because all your life you were just mistreated. Now, I would say, in my defense, I have a right to be disrespectful going into another person's family as an in law because of how I've been treated by my own mom. Initially, I would go in with the mindset to say, old women or women of our partners are better because now I'm raised by a bitter mom. I might be going in there with that mindset and always being defensive, even when what they are calling me into order is not to harm me, but is to better equip me of how to even, love the man that they have bred for me and raised on my behalf. So it's very important for us to find ourselves and understand what it is that we will accept and what we won't accept. Be it you decide that you're going to cut off your family. What does that mean? You cut off your family. When you go into another person's family, are you going to now forcefully drive this person to cut off their family because you are seeing traits of your family in his family? What does it mean for you to have learned that the kind of treatment you've been raised with or around, like, how are you now supposed to navigate this life thing, let alone being in a relationship or being part of a different household than the one that you were born into? So for me, like, healing is very important, and healing will also allow you to understand that not everyone in the world is like that. And with that being said, we need to be able to have the grace to understand that with whatever change we want to see happen, it's not going to be an overnight thing. Healthy communication is the first way for us to actually find a common ground to say, can I express myself so that you understand my expectation? Otherwise, we're going to have so much failure in relationships alone, regardless of the in-laws being the one that are influencing your relationship or not, regardless of whether or not when you think your man is there for you or he's fighting your battles. We need to look at who we are as a people. We need to look at the things that we've experienced for the longest time before we can want to be in that relationship that would now have in-laws. What are your basic standards in having to go into that family household, and what changes are you bringing? Because you might just be bringing your scars from where you come from, and you might find that the family is not so bad. It's just where you come from, there's been so much going on. What are you bringing in the name of love, in the name of respect? Because I just feel like it's so unnecessary that we are mistreating each other. We are mistreating each other because of now as a mother, I had to raise my children by myself, so I'm bitter. For you to be my in-law, you have to go over the mountain and you have to go around it 7 times, like the walls of Jericho. That is so unnecessary. We are made aware of the things that have happened to us individually, so that made us feel human and sometimes made us feel less of a human. Is that what you want for your children? Is that what you want for everybody that's connected to you? If the answer is no, do the work, get better. It's not going to be easy, but let go of the mentality of saying, yeah, mina vele ngkhubile for me to be here, so no one is going to have it easy when they come into my life. And this goes out to each and every one of us, because at some point we are going to be in-laws. So if wena as a person you were not treated good, don't take that and pass it on. Don't take that and impose it on the next person so that they feel your presence. Your presence doesn't have to be felt by you imposing negativity or continuing with the hurting that you have received. The injustice was done to you. Heal that and become a better person. And all the drama of misleading each other, of jealousy, of envy, and even of trying to break each other down will settle. Because I think we are the only people that have issues with in laws, looking at how our in laws will impose their pain on us because yena mengene emshadweni kwakungekho mnandi nawe uzofila uma uyongena kuloyo mshado for what? We need to heal that. We need to heal that, honestly.
Definitely. Totally agree with you, Sis Nano. Thank you so much for that contribution. Much appreciated as always. Thank you for stepping up from you saying you are taking a step back from the conversation. We appreciate that. With the Senza, I believe you said you were ready for your submission, sir. With the Senzo.
Hello again, everybody. Angithathe leli thuba nje ngokuqala ukuthi ngisebenze. Ngicela ukuthi ni-tap screen, guys. Please tap the screen. Let's get to 30k likes again. Ngiyabona ukuthi sibancane, but at least let us get to 30k likes today. Singafiki 50. Nesikhathi vele sesiyaphela. Ngokukhethekile angibingelele kwizimbali zezwe, angibingelele kwinsika yemindeni, which is our women, our partners that have given us that privilege of being in relationships with them. Ngoba ngaphandle kwenu imindeni angeke ize ime, ngeke izikwazi ukuthi siqhubeke silikhulise leli khaya, silakhe leli khaya ngaphandle kwenu. With that being said, I believe that men are supposed to create a safe space for women between my family and my partner. I need to make sure that I set boundaries. I need to enforce these boundaries and make sure that my partner is protected. Kuko konke lokho, I also need to do a self-reflection and understand my needs and the limits, how far I am willing to go. I need to understand and know my own values, in order for me to set up my boundaries that are going to be protecting my partner. These boundaries have to be set so that my family does not at any point see my wife as a problem. Well, in my case, my wife's, I need to make sure that I protect my wife. Yes, I need to make sure that I protect my wives. I need to make sure whatever issues there are there has to be a healthy communication so that whatever issues that are there, we are able to communicate between myself and my partners, and we know how to handle everything. Because angeke ngizokwazi ukuthi ngiyibambe impinki ngedwa without my partner, and I cannot expect her to fight on her own as well. Mina ngibuka le, when my family disrespect her, I cannot just turn a blind eye. I have to make sure that I step in and call them to order. I also need to make sure that my own wife as well does not disrespect my family. In fact, if there is something that she also needs to vent out about, akakhulume nami ngasese privately. If ever they do anything in my absence or say anything in my absence, because angeke baze bakhulume nomkami ngendlela embi, alright, ngendlela engenayo inhlonipho, ngeke baze bakhulume nomkami ngikhona mina, but they might take chances and do it in my absence. So if it happened in my absence, then my wife should know not to address them in that moment, because sometimes they might gang up on her, you know. She now needs to take a step back, azokhuluma nami ngasese, ngibone bese siyadiscussa between the two of us ukuthi sizoyilungisa kanjani lento with peace, peacefully and respectfully. Ilokho nje engingakusho. Phezu kwalokho, to our families, guys, if you know ukuthi to the ladies, if you know ukuthi you have a sister-in-law or a brother-in-law, please make sure ukuthi uyazazi wena ukuthi ubani ume kuphi kulo muntu, ungazikhulumi noma kanjani kena, because naye uwumuntu usuka emndenini wakhe with her own morals and values naye akhuliswe ngayo ekhaya. Kungenzeka ukuthi whatever jokes that you and I share la ekhaya and the way that we treat each other la ekhaya might not sit well with her. So make sure ukuthi you know when and how to talk to the next person. Okubalulekile kakhulu is creating a safe space of communication, making sure ukuthi you guys communicate with respect. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you so much, Abutu Senzo. Coming in there with the experience of dealing with two households. Yabo. So let's learn a bit of that. And with the submission that Abutu Senzo just made,
Just a correction. It's one household with two wives. One household with two wives. Thank you.
One household, two wives. Danko said. Thank you for that correction. There we go. And something that he, as he was speaking, that just came to mind is that, and this is a call to men, all right? We will also be our tatazala, father-in-law, one day, by the grace of God. And it is important for us to ensure that we don't even need to be discussing these sort of things as per your household, so that you know that you create an environment that thrive in that environment. Will say, when it comes to tatazala waka, I shan't be safe, because as a father-in-law, you hold more power to address and educate certain things, even to your own wife, who will be a mother-in-law to these your daughters and husbands-in-law. So it is a very big role that we also play, and I think we forget that we also need to equip ourselves in that manner, that we also create an environment that is great for our daughters-in-law and our sons-in-law. There was something that I will not forget, and this is just how the impact is. So we were talking about with my dad, and we're talking about the concept of divorce in for lack of a word, in a cultural sense, how it was done before, what was the whole thing. And as he was explaining to me that in Tswana, the returning of a daughter-in-law back to her family called belesetso. So it was a gruesome thing, an experience to have, and it was meant to shame the woman. And I guess regardless of whether she was the cause of the divorce or not, she will still go through the same thing. So I think I explained this in one of the lives, that they will take a donkey cart, because there was a transport back then. The donkey cart, put all your bags on that donkey cart, remove the wheels of the donkey cart, and you are basically dragged, or the donkeys drag the cart without wheels. So because we do not have roads in areas we come from, the dust and everything that causes, it's just that it was meant to embarrass. And thank you so much, Abu Senzo. It was meant to embarrass women. And when he told me this, he said, in his starting of explaining it, is like, back then there was this thing and done as a result of patriarchy, which I hate. And then he told me the story. Just him mentioning the element of patriarchy and how he hates that made me understand his stance in, as a father-in-law, how he will then treat my wife. And he has the perspective of saying he needs to protect his daughters-in-law from patriarchy as it has been. And that is just the value and the impact that it has done for me, and just by that word that he has spoken. And this is what I'm speaking to when I say that as men, one day we will be, by the grace of God, fathers-in-law. We ought to then create an environment that then these discussions don't need to happen, because the environment is proper. And also, as men, we need to also understand that by prejudice, certain things that we communicate, even when they are our own views and opinion as the men, it will always be taken that it is the wife's influence. And this has happened a lot in many marriages. You will hear things of saying, yeah, since she's been married to my son has changed, right? So even if it was my opinion, it will be interpreted as if it is my wife who has influenced this. And we need to break that and be clear in our communication with that. Because I think sometimes parents forget that you may have raised me in this way as a child. But for example, I since left my parents' house at 2010. All this time, they don't know who I am outside of their house. So I have learned to be me. I've grown, I've learned certain things and whatnot. So when they interact with me after all of these years, they cannot, for their own sake, expect me to be the same and still hold the same views of how they raised me, especially the ones that I don't agree with. They raised me, it's okay. I don't agree with certain ways in which they raised me. So when I communicate these things, it must be clear that I'm saying it because I don't believe it, or I no longer stand by it, because as an adult, this is what I'm going to do different in my own household. So this needs to be clear. And also, when you have the mindset of it, knowing that there will always be this prejudice against our wives, then we will know, when you do certain things, they will reflect a certain way on our lives, not because of what you said or how you said it, but because of the bias that they have to say, that would not come from my son, so it definitely comes from his wife, and it could just purely because they have a thing against your wife, or they just want to pick a fight. So whatever that you say, it's an opportunity for them to pick that fight. So we also need to be careful in that as men, and be mindful of that, to say that our women, our wives, there's a certain amount of bias or prejudice against them, purely because certain views will be taken as if it's them who are influencing the thing. Sis Nonsense, I like it when they say it's the wife. You see, so yeah, so it's these things. But when we understand these things as men, we begin to have a better understanding of what our wives are being subjected to or what they go through. And we can be able to build relationships that are able to overcome some of these things. So, and I think, difficult as it may be, to what I think Sisimpa was saying earlier on, yes, it is difficult for us to do some of these things, but difficult should not be the reason not to do it. You know, when you think about a difficult situation and you think about the 25 years, the 45 years that you have to deal with it, it's actually a small situation in light of the timeline that you have to deal with it. So be patient with yourself, be patient with the people that you're dealing with, but also ensuring that your boundaries are well communicated. Should you need to advocate for your wife, do so as a man, and don't be the quiet, timid Makoti. Voice out your opinions when you need to, within the bounds of the cultural respects and all of that, and within the protocols that you and your husband have established, because it's important that both of you establish that. To what Abu Tisenza was saying earlier on, in his household, the way he goes about is to say, should they choose to gang up on you in my absence, because they won't do it in my presence, don't address them. Keep quiet, do what you gotta do, come to me, tell me, I will address it. So if that is how you guys have set it up for you too, but it's important that it needs to be sorted out in this thing. And never be afraid to own up to your stance. Or own up to the thing. I like what Sis Noms was saying. She likes it when they say, "Kuti no, it's because of Lomtagati that Imali is not coming through." Sometimes you own up to those things because that's a boundary that you've set, so that they don't therefore exploit, for example, the finances of your household. You will do and help to an extent that you're able to, but not to a point where it now creates problems for you and your household, because it's not helping anyone. And as a people, we still have a long way to go to understand what is the strategic plan that we are going to step outside of the poverty that we grew up in, as a generation or as a people. So we still need to find that way and understand that when one person goes out, it may not necessarily mean that all of you are out. Sometimes for this generation, let this person go out, go a further mile to achieve certain things, get to a point they're stable enough to be able to bring others out, because it's a generation thing. You can't always be the benefactor of a movement within a generation to take the generation out of poverty. So let me see comments. Simple, waiting for him could take time sometimes. I've learned to deal with the issue today now. Listen, if it works, it works. But also, I think earlier on I did say that when you guys have had an understanding between the two of you guys, then yes, you know how to handle the situation, because you guys have discussed about, should this happen, this is what we stand for in our household, and this is what we stand for with our in-laws. So even when you need to address the thing today and now, you will address it in the bounds of what you guys have already spoken about, and therefore when he comes, also it's a case of it. No, really, exactly what my wife said is what I'm saying, because you have an understanding. So definitely that needs to be to happen if it needs to be, because some issues needs to be addressed as and when. But that's what I'm saying, that as per household, have an understanding of how you guys are going to function as a unit, so that when you now go into the outside, this is being the in-laws, you are being represented, or you're representing yourselves as a unit still. then it makes things a whole lot easier. So yeah, Sis Nano, do you have anything to say? I think we can pause the conversation here for now or for today. Anything you like to add, subtract?
I just want to say, guys, let's love each other now with intention. Let's love each other with intention. We know that we come from different backgrounds and there's different levels of hurt and disappointments and dismantling and disheartening events that have happened. That doesn't determine the better person that you can be should you put in the work. Put in the work, love freely, love authentically, and just treat the person next to you as you'd want them to treat you. Because everything we do is just a matter of a decision, and we are making decisions every second. Let's just be respectful and let's love each other. Let's nurture each other with love. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sis Nano. Thank you so much. The last bit of it, sometimes we may assume or take for granted that it is understood. For example, to what Abudu Senzo is saying on the comments there, to say men always protect your wives. Sometimes we may think protecting is when there's already an argument or when there's already a situation, then you stand up or whatever. Sometimes protecting your wife is preparing her ahead of time, giving her techniques of how to navigate your people, teaching her how your household and how you want things to go in your household. That makes it easier for her to interact and engage with your family. That also in itself is a form of protection, because you're ensuring that you're minimizing any risks of something brewing or something happening. So you are ensuring that she is protected before it even happens. It's not so much about protecting when the issue happens or when it comes about. So that is just what I wanted to say as the last parting words. And I appreciate all of you who have come in and had a conversation. And to those who are still engaged, they will catch the YouTube uplink. It should be then up by tomorrow 1 p.m. So that you can follow and comment. And if you want to have a part 2, you can definitely do so. If you want to suggest your own topic, please bring it through. And to everyone else who has joined us via an invite of someone else, we appreciate you for coming through. We appreciate you also liking and following us. And we invite you to join us every Monday to Friday, 10:20. We are here and we have conversations like these, engagements that ought to build, that ought to encourage. We invite you to come through, share your knowledge. We learn from each other, and we're hoping to build the society that we want to see in the future. We may not necessarily be the benefactors, of what we are building, but like the saying goes, that you plant a tree that you might not necessarily sit under the shade. So we are trying to build and not to destroy. And every single time when we have a topic, it's not us talking to you, it's us engaging, because some of these topics are coming from you guys as suggestions. So we really, really appreciate you. And Ausumpo and Dada KG, we appreciate you too. Thank you so much. Ozimpo, I've enjoyed your teaching, you teaching us today. I was not teaching, I was just sharing. And let me give my boss there an opportunity to speak, and we can close this. Abu Leroy.
So, man, it's again, like, working, getting busy, learning, and this part, learn. But then I know, I really don't have much to actually say, but I guess, like, thank you very much for actually being here, us like every day. And yeah, man, we really appreciate that. And hopefully one day we'll be very big, yeah. So we just appreciate you guys. Sure, man.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So don't forget the ads.
Oh yeah. Like remember to get your bottle of like Velagen actually for 150 bucks. So please follow Velagen ZA and you can get your bottle of 150 and just like and follow there quickly. Oh yeah, man.
Righty, thank you so much there, Butu Leroy. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your today is Tuesday. As in, like guys, I'm always ready for Thursday. Okay, enjoy the rest of your week till I see you guys again.
All
Of
is ready
a
for the weekend.
Thursday. Hey, my dog, me, I'm always ready. I'm always ready. Yeah, but in any case, enjoy the rest of your day, and let's do better, Sis Nomsuti. Let's please be better in-laws, so that your brothers and sisters can flourish in their marriages. You know, your own behavior affects the marriage of your brother, your siblings. So please, do the right thing. Mina can all I can say is udlisiwe mntana. Alright, you guys see me. Bye bye. Hey, this is now.